A very good afternoon, friends, and welcome for this media interaction, special media interaction with the entire crew of the film Mehrunisa. As we all are aware, the world premiere of this Austrian film Mehrunisa was held yesterday. Sandeep Kumar is not just the director; he has produced the film. He's the screenplay playwriter also of the film, and the film is about 90 minutes duration. It was selected by IFFI as a mid festival film, which gives due importance to the kind of film it is. Shri Sandeep Kumar has trained in theatre. He has also shared the stage with Farrukh Khan while at school, I have been told. He's based in Austria, Vienna, and makes fiction feature films as well as documentaries. In 2010, Sandeep Kumar has released Austrian Bollywood film. I think he'll have to explain what exactly he means by an Austrian Bollywood film. Kesaria Balam, which received many awards. Yesterday at the premiere, he said that he didn't want a premiere for Mehrunisa at Cannes or Berlin or Berlinale, but he wanted an Indian premiere. We would like to know the reasons behind that. The film, as we all know, is a drama about an 80-year-old actress taking on a male-dominated Indian film industry, and who unwillingly becomes a leading advocate for women's rights. At this media interaction, apart from Sandeep, we also have cast of the film joining in. Farrukh Jaffar's daughter, Mehru Jaffar, is with us. Actress Ankita Dubey, actress Tulika Banerjee, Tuhina Mehra. We also have the publicist Jitan Hingorani, and the sound recordist was also there yesterday at the film screening. I would request Sandeep Kumar to share with us his experience of making of the film, and about his earlier films also. We would like to hear from him, and we would also like to know how he chose the subject of the film, and how does he look at the entire experience. Sandeep.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all of you. It's wonderful to be here and on the day one after our world premiere. And as you said, sir, it was our greatest dream after we made this film, which is made with a lot of love and affection. And also, the first time an Austrian production, which is completely filmed in India in an Indian language. So even the whole of Austria and the film industry over there is looking at Goa at the moment. It was after we made the film, we had a long post-production in Austria, and then when we were looking to launch it, the dream was to somehow dodge the big festivals or so-called big festivals like Cannes, Berlinale, and Venice, etc., and have it on Indian soil. Because the essence of the film is so Indian, and it's all about Indian women. And we said that at least the start of the journey should be on the Indian soil, and we didn't expect that we'll get such a great platform at the IFFI, and that also as the mid-fest film. So I think we're very fortunate. I think it is a great tribute to this grand lady of Indian cinema who's been around for 45 years and, celebrating the peak of her career at 88. So that itself makes it so unique. And we had the world premiere yesterday, and we're very, very overwhelmed by the response. It was not just that it was a first public viewing. Even the cast of the film was seeing this film for the first time yesterday evening. So that was a world premiere for everyone. About you asked me about the earlier films. Yeah, well, I'm basically from Delhi, and I spend half my life, more than half my life now in Europe, in Vienna, Austria, and always wanted all my films have some Indian content in it, whether they are shot in Austria or in, New York or in, wherever else. And I feel that I want to connect both the worlds and make something new, because I don't want to just make another Bollywood or another European film. So just get the sensibilities, into the content which I'm making. The idea of this film arose because I was just wondering, where are those yesteryear actresses which we used to see? Where are they now? And so I researched a bit, and they're just like, some of them are in their 60s, some of them are in their 70s and 80s, and they are there. But they don't come really in Indian cinema. They're not seen anywhere around. If they come, they just come as, aunties, grandmothers, mothers, as placeholders, which anybody could do. So my thought was, why are there not stories around them? Don't we have stories to tell around them? In Europe, it's not the case, of course. In Europe, you also, senior citizens way in their 70s and 80s, especially actors, have a film running with them as, in the lead role, because the story is around them. So I felt that we should do that. And when the moment I started writing for it, the one name which came into my mind and the only actress I felt could pull it off was Farrukh, Jaffar. So I've been very impressed by her. I've been a big admirer for, the whole journey over 4 decades ago as mother of Rekha in Umrao Jaan. All that journey from Umrao Jaan till, Gulabo Sitabo as Amitabh Bachchan's Begum. And all the things she had between that. She's acted with all the 3 Khans. She was grandmother to Salman Khan. She has acted as a grandmother in Secret Superstar, acted with Shah Rukh, acted with Nawazuddin Siddiqui. And this is her first lead role at 88. And so I feel, okay, they needed someone from Austria to come to do this, but I feel very honored that we had the privilege of doing this. So that's a big privilege, and imagine such a unique story of being at a peak of someone's career for an actress at 88. So that itself is great, and I hope Mehrunisa, after seeing the response, would also be a game changer in the Indian film industry, where we identify yesteryear actors or senior actors and tell stories around them, because they have a lot of stories to tell. It's not just about being young and being sexy and looking nice. It's about the experience of our people, and so those stories should also be said. And I think we, as a younger generation, which is also coming, can learn a lot from them. So it's not just about the gadgets and how you deal with it. Probably the younger generation can do that better. It's about their life experience, and I think they have it. And we have wonderful actors, around us. So Mehrunisa should be a stepping stone into that. That's what we hope.
We'll have the questions after everyone from the film has spoken. We would like to hear from Mehru Jaffar, your mother's experience being a part of this film.
Okay. So thank you, Goa, thank you, IFFI, for noticing this wonderful film, which is made with literally no cash, but a lot of love and passion. Thank you, and I must applaud here Sandeep, who's such a young and handsome gentleman. He should have been actually running after Sheila's Javani and Anarkali. But he chose to spend one long year with a 80-plus-year-old actress. And he left, all the beauty queens behind. And to revolve a story around this character who's sitting at home, still very active, still acting, but doing stuff maybe not of any great consequence, So she can, the kind of roles she did as Salman's grandmother, anybody could have done it. So I think it was Sandeep first who picked her up, chose her to do this role, and then Shujit in Gulabo Sitabo. So what I love as a film buff is the changing mindset within Bollywood, within people involved in the world of Indian cinema, that this film should inspire writers to think of alternative stories instead of the usual. So I'm very, very proud of Sandeep, and I admire him a lot for putting his money where his mouth is and going for this lovely, very human story. I find it a story about all of humanity, because it is a story of three women of three different generations, also trying to fight the loneliness of urban existence, the community that has been reduced to a nuclear family, and trying to hold on to community living, with people where once upon a time people of different age groups spend all their life together, helping each other, crying with each other, and being happy with each other. So it's also a very powerful social comment against loneliness. In a planet of 1.3 billion people, nobody in this world has the right to be lonely and neglected and not cared for. So it's not just about the raw ambition of a 88-year-old actress, but it is a very powerful social comment, and I hope you found that in the movie last night. Thank you.
Lovely. Ankita Dubey, can you share, please? Haji? हाँ. Sure, please. Can you share your experience being a part of this film?
Hello, everyone. Great afternoon. Thank you for having us here. Thank you, IFFI. Thank you, everybody who's behind us being here. The experience that I had working in this film was, it was completely different. I've been working in Bollywood for like 9 years now, and I can so very relate to what they have just spoken, that there are people who are looking for somebody to pull out a story for what is going inside them. So there are a lot of stories in Bollywood which surrounds around hero and heroine or something like that. But this was so real and raw that it just took my attention the very first time I read the script. And I was like, I just want to do it with all of my heart, because it had something hidden inside it, and I really wanted people to find it out. So the moment I read the script, I was like, oh wow, this is such a lovely script, so real, and I really want to do it. And that's how I got on board with Sandeep. I just met him once and I said, okay, yeah, I want to do it. And then the next thing was Farrukh Jaffar ji. She's from Lucknow, I'm from Lucknow, and of course I have a connection with her. So when I knew that she's there, I just wanted to be around her and have her energy, have her experience that she's had over these years. And I think it was a great decision, because I learned a lot from her. There's a big gap between our generation, but we have somehow created a gap with our grandparents, or the older generation, and this new generation is too much involved in gadgets and social life. They have somehow forgotten the roots behind. So if you see the film, you'll find out that somewhere Alia and Mehrunisa are on the same page. Actually, everyone, all three ladies are struggling in their own life somehow, but the point is same. So I really wanted to pick that up and I really wanted to, people to understand that it's okay, life is fast, you're going fast, but then you shouldn't forget your roots. And there had a lot of experience around her, that not only her, but any elderly person. And one should always be connected. So yeah, that inspired me to work with Sandeep and Farrukh ji and the whole team, because I somehow connected to the film and I really wanted to be around such creative people. So I just came in and it was a wonderful experience. It completely changed me from inside as an actor, because the moment I decided that I will do this film, I just wanted to feel each and every moment and be there in the moment and perform. I didn't want to act, actually. I just wanted to feel how it is coming, and that's how it happened. I just felt everything and did. Thank you.
Tulika Banerjee, ma'am, can we hear your experience?
Thank you, sir. A line of thank yous. First of all, thank you, IFFI, for everything. It has been so great. It has been such a lovely experience. More because of the corona effect and the pandemic, we were all bottled up. Everything was so bottled up, and it was such a huge gap कि अंदर सब मन करा था it comes out. So thank you, IFFI, for making it possible even after this pandemic, and so beautifully, so gracefully, and in a wonderful manner. Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep, for making this film, for having us in this film. And about the film, okay, a lot of thing has been said here. Just two things that I would like to mention here. Why is the film important for public, and why is the film important for me? Why is the film important for public? Because, see, there are so many women-centric films which are being made. Today's cinema, women-centric films has taken a good hold over that. So many films are coming up with good stories. But what's so special about this? Even in this zone of women-centric films, women empowerment films, this has brought up many new hatke wala factors, hatke and different messages, which even the women-centric films has not taken up till now. As Sandeep said, that this message, we have not realized that in Bollywood, with age, the female gender loses her charm, whereas the male gender still goes on. Why this discrimination? This was the one of the messages that we needed to learn and understand and come up with. So there are different messages, hidden messages in the film that the film gives for this generation. That is what makes it special and worth watching. The chemistry, the importance of our older generation, the grandparents, the elders, unke life mein jana, their connection with the younger generation. Youth will always become phalega phulega, what we say. What tabhi when the elder generation is there. There is a lot. What we have, what the youth have. We have gadget, we have knowledge, we have everything, access, technology. But what does our elders have? They have experience of life, which is it is going waste because we are not using it. So that is another message. Then third message, that age is not. It is just a number. The phrase that age is just a number, that is a strong message which is given in Mehrunisa. We should understand that. Especially in India. What I say, in India, it's a big thing in India. Once you get married, एक औरत की शादी होती है, life is finished. When she has children, एकदम completely gone. Her life is confined to marriage and to children and to that certain age. शादी हो गई मतलब people don't marry. Ladies don't marry. Why? Because they want to, do something in life. Why? If you will marry, will that be a hindrance? It should not be. Marriage is something which adds on to your life. It should not cut out from things. It is your strength, your family, you are increasing, you are adding onto your life. It is your strength. So that is also a hidden this thing that, do not, let your life finish and stop after marriage or after certain age due to any factor. So there are so many hidden beautiful messages. That is why I feel that this film is different and worth watching for public. Why is it important for me? Because as an artist, Mehrunisa gives me the most pleasure, and it is deep rooted in my heart. Reason, because we have not actually acted in the film. We are not actors. We have lived the characters. As I say, I have been speaking it for other interviews. It is a very organic film. Why? Because, again, it is the things, the emotions that you're seeing on the silver screen. They are not made up. They are organic. They are real. 1 and 2 hours before the shot was, taken, the director used to make us feel come into the ambience of that zone. Feel the character. If I'm crying for real. I'm not using glycerine for that. If I slapped her in real. Gaal laal ho jate the, that type of thing. So it is very much close to our heart. Our means the actors, that we have acted. So we have not actually acted. That is why it will always remain very closest to my heart. Very few films in an actor's life we get where we get to portray the inner art, the real talent, the inner actor of. Acting क्या है? Acting वो है सबसे अच्छा जिसमें acting लगे ही ना. जैसे मेकअप बोलते हैं. What is makeup? The best makeup is when you do not put it. समझ में नहीं आए कि makeup है. So likewise, the best acting is where you do not act. It comes out naturally, and they have portrayed it very beautifully. I saw myself in the film for the first time, and I really couldn't hold my tears. So many times I cried in that. And again, I will close it for the question answer round, not going on so long. Thank you once again for making it happen.
We can start. No? Yeah, Siraj.
My name is Siraj Sayyed. I'm India correspondent for filmfestivals.com. Two very quick questions, both to Sandeep. Firstly, you said you live in Austria, and you've made several films in the past as well. What is the force or the driving energy that took you to Austria, and what do you do for a profession when you are not making films, if you do something, because you made a film with almost no cash? So that's one question. The second question is that amidst the Bollywood model of having younger people in their 40s and 50s and 60s playing people in their 90s and 100s, you would be tempted to probably cast one of the regular stars to match the age level. It's a very tough decision to make a younger person, either a star, look older, or take an older person who looked naturally older. You made a very right choice, but there must have been some thinking behind this process.
I'll start with the second question. So you mean to say, why didn't I take regular stars to make this film? And that was a whole concept, because there's a dialogue in the film. I don't know if you've seen the film. There's a dialogue in the film where Mehrunisa says, it's not, probably it's edited also, when the producers from Bollywood come and try to convince her, she says, "Aap story bech rahe ho ki aap star bech rahe ho?" So that is a whole concept which I feel that it should be, the story should be the strongest driving force and not the star. And you go to, that's how it happens in Europe. You go to see a movie and then, independent cinema, you go to see a movie and then you see, oh, that was brilliant performance. Who is the person? So the character has to be the highest driving force and not the star behind it, right? So even this is my first feature film which I've shot in India. Even if I would like to have a famous face for it, it would only be among the younger lot. It would only be if I feel that that person is most appropriate for the role, and not because of the name. And that also happened. I was planning another film instead, which got a bit delayed, and instead of that, we made Mehrunisa. So that's why we are here. And for that, the story really, and that was a story to be shot in Vienna with an Indian face. So I was working with a known Bollywood actor, but we took him because of his acting capabilities and not because he's a star. So that is the whole concept of my thing. So the story is key, and not to go for, just the face. That was the whole concept. And in this, of course, I believe in, first of all, shooting in real locations. It's even if I had a lot of cash, I would shoot it in real locations, because I feel that place has a kind of an energy. In Mehrunisa, we have all real locations. We didn't build a set, because set may you have to create that energy. In a real location, you go there and you feel the energy. When we decided for that Haveli where we are doing the shoot, where Mehrunisa lives, I also called for all the workshops shows to be held in that Haveli rehearsals, because they have to feel that they are living here. Mehrunisa is staying there, and they both, the daughter and the granddaughter, visiting from somewhere else. So, but the daughter of Mehrunisa was living there earlier. She had a room, So that energy should be felt and not be made. So that I think that if you have the sensibilities, you see the difference. Whether it is their own house, whether they are feeling at home or not. So that is like, real locations, actors according to the story. That is very important. That's key for me. To answer your first questions, how I reached Austria, I think that was the first question. I mean, I was born. Yeah.
No, I meant not only how you reached Austria, but living in Austria, you've made so many films with Indian backgrounds, and you can make a film with very little money, which means that you probably have some profession other than filmmaking as well to support you, or this is your whole time job?
Well, I don't see it as a money-making machine, films. I always say, but I live films. I eat, breathe, and, sleep films. So that is my life. Most of all the Austrian films, like most of the European films, are government funded. It's not private funded like in India. So the funds which are given by the government to make films, they are very limited. It is a very transparent process. They have it all on the internet, so everybody can see what people are getting, and it's a very fair system. It's a very social system. So it's not that 80% of the budget, like in Bollywood, goes to the stars, and the technicians are not getting anything. So it's a very fair, process, and but they're all government funded, and it's limited. So we have to be very creative, and that's what I do. So try to adjust those funds so you can live yourself and you can also make good films. And coming from India, I think you can do very well. I always tell my Austrian colleagues over there that we have something which is called jugaad. So you can, and they want to know what it is, because they need always some budgets to do certain things. And I say, I'm from Delhi and we can do jugaad. So that means even I can make a film for 1 million euros. I can also make a film for 100, same film for 100,000 euros and for 10,000 euros as well, and give it more or less the same look. So it's all about jugaad, So that is my philosophy, and I think that you can, if the story can be told in different ways. So depending on the budget you have. So that's the
Thank you.
The question is, what do you mean by a trained filmmaker? I learned filmmaking very organically. Well, while I was in school, as Sir said, while I was in school in St. Columbus School, as I entered the school, Shah Rukh Khan was leaving the school, and I happened to do first 2 films. My introduction was through those Barry John plays, which we had in Kamani Auditorium in Delhi. And we did English-speaking plays, and through theatre. So that it started with theatre, and then I went on to Europe and studied management, business management, because going to film schools was not very common in those days. But I was, film was always my passion. So I was making short films over there. And when I came to Austria, I did workshops with the maestro, Michael Haneke, at the Vienna Film Academy, and learned a lot of things about filmmaking from him. And I think it is a great pleasure. and a great honor to have been in his workshops. So that was my, a formal kind of, education, if it would say. But I always believe that, I don't believe in going to schools even for actors. I always tell actors that you have to have that, you have to just study life. You just have to, instead of going 3 years to a film institute, I don't want to spoil their business, but don't go to film institute, just go 3 years, live life, go around the world, see experiences, notice people, and that's where you get the ideas from. Every human being, 7 billion people on this planet have a story to tell, and you can learn from them. So just go around, study people, observe. You have it all around you. You don't need to, I don't believe in that you can read books to learn to make films. I mean, there's a bit of a craft which you have to learn, but and every director, every filmmaker makes the film in his own way. That is very interesting. So if you look at Rise of Indian Cinema with Anurag Kashyap, how he made the first few films with very little cash, which were brilliant. And then he got a lot of cash, so that didn't work well. So, yeah. And so then, and it happens not just to Indian filmmakers. I don't know if you've heard about Alexander Walsh, and he's also a filmmaker. So when he was making independent films, it worked out brilliantly. And then when he got a lot of money to make the films, then it somehow didn't. So that's why I said at an interview that when Anurag Kashyap makes a film, he dreams of going to the Cannes. And when I made this film, I dreamt of coming to IFFI Goa.
Yes.
So.
Sandeep, what is your next plan of action regarding this film? You will be traveling all over the world with the various festivals? And second question is, are you planning to release this film in India? When, where, and how?
Certainly, we want, now that the film has been launched here in Goa, we had the world premiere. We want it to have a world journey at festivals, and not just Indian festivals, but across the globe, wherever we get a chance to show the film. I think it's going to be very interesting also in foreign countries to show this film, because it's very, very local, but with a global topic, some emotion, as they said, everybody can connect to. And we want it to have a festival journey while all of the entire world is coming out of the pandemic. So we are not in a hurry. We made this with a lot of love. We took our time to make it, and we are not in a hurry to get it, out on our OTT. I want the maximum number of people to enjoy it on a big screen. So whoever was in the cinema yesterday saw the magic. You're sitting collectively in a dark room, watching the film. It's something very different. So I don't want them to consume it on a handheld. I want them to feel the film, and so that's why we are waiting. We will do the film festivals, and then we would like to, have a worldwide release, theatrical release if possible. And then who knows what the destiny of Mehrunisa is, but this is our plan at the moment. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any favorite Indian filmmaker?
Indian.
Yeah, Indian.
Well,
Who influenced you? I mean,
can I take 2-3 names?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was very much a big admirer of Meera Nair because she kind of connected the American cinema with the Indian cinema. I also enjoyed watching films of Gurinder Chadha, who connected the English to the Indian cinema. And I thought that nobody has done it in the German-speaking countries, so why not I step in? And that was the emerging of the Austrian, that's a German language country, Austrian Indian cinema. So these were the two who I really admired. And of course, in the new age, I really like Anurag Kashyap's style. The way with the boldness he, makes films. So I really like that is my style also, like, filmmaking and, those topics and all that. So those are the Indian filmmakers. Otherwise, of course, and not to, look down upon others. They are great filmmakers. I also wanted to say that the whole of Bollywood kind of overshadows the great regional cinema India has. And that's why IFFI is such a great platform. I think I'll have to come again to IFFI. This is my first time to see all these, brilliant films from different states, which are playing over here. I just happened to see one. I think it was Finding Pinky or something. And I think there's so many good films which are releasing here in or coming out here in this festival. But in general, they don't release, all over India because being overshadowed by Bollywood. So I think that also, for that also, IFFI is doing a great job, and other film festivals in bringing that out to the world. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They don't get theaters because probably it's all commercial, and everybody wants to earn money, and so that's unfortunate because it's really high quality cinema. So maybe I'll want that or advocate that to get it also to foreign festivals more in Europe. And I've myself now I'm in the process of discovering the regional cinema.
And like Australia, India, Indian government also doesn't fund,
Austria.
Austria, that's what, like Austria, Indian government doesn't, fund for films.
No, in Austria, only the government funds for film. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, government is funding for the films. Is there any limitations on film while writing stories or something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is the difficulty. You can't just have someone privately financing your film, which probably would be a bit easier if somebody just convinced by you or is your friend or has a lot of money. That doesn't happen. So we have to all submit our scripts to one funding authority, and where my scripts go, there you also have great experienced senior filmmakers like Michael Haneke, Ulrich Seidel, all those, Austrian filmmakers who are simply like, have so much of experience. And they're all taken together. And if there are like 100 scripts, 4 or 5 will be funded. So you have a great filtering process which is done beforehand, which can be quite frustrating because, you feel before even you have started, your film is being, so they try to, of course, because funds are limited, these are like taxpayers' money, and so that's why it is that process which we have to go through.
You completed your school studies.
You mean from the film or from me? Although, well, I was asked earlier this day from another channel what message you want to give. I just think people should just tell their own stories. That is, they should not copy a style. They should not copy what is being sold. Just tell your own stories. And even if, whether they have money or not, just tell your own stories, and that will resonate well. Make a film which you like to make. And that is what the message I can give. The second thing is what I expect people to take from the film is, I really hope that, this film and the essence of it becomes a game changer also for, in the Indian film industry, that they, start believing in veteran actors, especially actresses, in lead roles, to lead, a film, to, be the main cast in the film. And so that would really be very fulfilling to see all those veteran actresses come and them leading in the role, leading the film as a lead actress.
Do you not feel that this film is just near to Rashtri's style? Rashtri's came 46 up till now. They are making things like family film. So you have made the film just like बिल्कुल family film और बहुत creative और effect पड़ती है. तो कभी effect नहीं पड़ता दर्शकों पर. इस फिल्म का effect very दर्शकों पर. तो आप क्या चाहते हैं कि राष्ट्रीय टाइप को भी 3-4 महीने फिल्म बना लेते हैं, फिर गाने पॉपुलर करते हैं, उसके बाद में फिर फिल्म को रिलीज करते हैं. आपका स्टाइल इसी है.
No, I don't know about Rajshri films which you're referring to, but I feel that's true. This film is for everyone. You can have a teenager watching this film. My son himself is 14 years old. He watched this film and he understood it. And he really liked the story. He watched it, and then we had people who are you yourself. You said you're, above 70, you said, and you really love the film as well. So I think the spectrum of people watching it and enjoying it is, there. But there's no model. You put 5 songs. It's not made on that model. It's just like, it's a story, but it's understandable by and I think not just Indians. It'll be, if you show it in Japan or if you show it in America, the emotions are, everywhere it's the same. So that's why I think that is the basically essence of the film.
I have a last question for you. You said only 4 to 5 scripts are selected. You mean to say annually only 4 to 5 films are made?
They don't have. I mean, yeah. So it's not many films. You could just it could be like 8 depending on. But you're just countable. Whether it is 5, sometimes it is just 5, sometimes it is 10 to 15, depending on how much budget you are giving to each and every film. But it is not, and there's not a huge budget. When they cut a budget, it's always cut from the cultural budget. So and they put it somewhere else. So you have to fight for that budget. You have to have a script, and if it's not passed out in the first step, then you have to go and revise your script. It's a huge project, process to get that kind of funding. But then it gives you an equal ground. You could write a script, I could write it, and Michael Haneke could write it, and you just give it. So it gives you an equal ground, which I think people in India don't have an equal ground. You have to know someone. You have to know a huge producer. If he's your friend, he'll give you money, and then you can make anything you want. So I think that way equality is there. They don't care whether it's a man or a woman writing the script. They don't care whether, I'm the only Indian filmmaker over there, whether I have Indian background or I have, an African background. There's an equal ground for everyone. The story is key. So that I feel is, I feel privileged to be in that thing. But of course, it's not easy to get the funds. I think it's no way easy to get cash to make films.
So you said this was the first film in India you have made. How
Yeah.
was your experience? Because you have done European films, and the working style of European films is different or the same over here. How was your experience?
Of course, it's very different. It was, for me, emotionally, it was very, very intense to come back to India. And then I got an Austrian crew, and they were all, for the first time, they were coming to India, and we took them directly to Lucknow. First, they were really overwhelmed by, what they saw, but they all fell in love with the people of Lucknow, and me too. And I am now a big, admirer and ambassador for Lucknow, because, the hospitality of the people, how helpful they are. The whole city was coming together to make the film. I remember having met people over there in the pre-production phase, and we told them this is our film, and this is not like a big Bollywood production or Hollywood production. We're coming here, and they said, oh, and there, of course, they know Farrukh Jaffar. She's an honorable citizen of that city, and they said, you are coming from there to make a film with our, actress from Lucknow. We are with you. So everything was possible, and the whole city of Lucknow came together to, make the film with us. Of course, there were challenges. When we started doing the workshop, we called people for the rehearsals at 7. I didn't know that everybody in Lucknow is a Nawab. So they turned up at 9. So we were wondering, how do we figure that out? We can't do for the shoot. And then they said, why do we need workshops? Because Indian film, Bollywood films, they don't need workshops. So then we didn't know how to go about it. And then I did another jugaad, that we kept another girl from Lucknow just to start calling them 1 hour before the time when they were supposed to be there. And she used to call them so often that they couldn't give any more excuses. And she knew exactly where they were. So when they said, we are just 5 minutes away, she asked them, where are you? So before the shooting started, they were so used, they just said, please ask her not to call us, we'll be there on time. And then they were there on time. So you can use different things to make it work.
This was the jugaad they learned over here. This was the jugaad you made in this film.
This was the jugaad I made. A couple of jugaads also made, but this was my biggest jugaad to deal with the Nawabiyat of Lucknow.
Think about the poor lady whom you hired. हम लोग उसको गाली दिया करते थे, यार प्लीज फोन मत करो, we'll come.
She was the most respected person on the set, more feared by people than me. So they were like, she shouldn't call us, we will be on the set. So that was really good.
So is there any cultural similarity in Austria and in India you saw?
There are cultural similarities. I think if you compare Austria with India, there are cultural similarities because, I think Mehru can elaborate more because she has worked on that. So I think she can say a little bit more about that.
I lived in Vienna for 30 years, and that's where I got to know Sandeep. There are tremendous cultural similarities because not in modern day Lucknow and Vienna, because Vienna is leaps and bounds ahead of Lucknow economically. But culturally, both Lucknow and Vienna are imperial cities. They have been capital of very great empires, and their fame about 200 years ago was known all over the world. So there is, a character to a city that has enjoyed a court culture. So a court culture means, very high standards of literature, poetry. So it's the same in Vienna. Every corner belongs to some great person, a writer or a scientist or a poet or a musician. And this is also the ethos, the historical ethos of Lucknow, where once upon a time every lane and by lane was filled with poets, who would sit on the roadside cafes, composing poetry, not necessarily famous like Ghalib, but they were poets, so poetry had filtered down from the court, imperial court, to the streets. And this kind of melancholy, nostalgia for the good old days when the city was ruled by Nawabs in Lucknow and by the monarch in Vienna, is very, very similar. So it gives a similar soul, to the citizens of both the cities.
And there's one thing which I would like to add upon, which I realized is similar. Vienna has coffee plays a huge role. The biggest consumption of coffee in the world is in Austria. 20 kilograms per person. And Vienna has so many coffee houses that they say if you live the entire life of every day you can go to a different coffee house, and the film sets you just drinking coffee. Cut to Lucknow, I discovered the same role is played by chai. So we used to have every 15 minutes a cutting chai, this much, and our Austrian crew, they were like, what is this? And then we had, then it became a regular feature. Every 15 minutes, half an hour, that chai was coming and you were having shots of chai. And I didn't know, being from Delhi, I didn't know that there are different kinds of chais. They have the tandoor chai, then they have the other chai, and there's a culture of chai in Lucknow, which we Delhiites or being from Austria don't know. So the entire Austrian crew, they forgot their coffee because they couldn't drink the coffee over there. They became chai buffs. So this is, I think, ये जो नवाबियत है, this नवाबियत which also is there because of this imperialistic thing. In Vienna and in Austria, a similar Nawabiyat is also there as far as food and drinks is concerned in Lucknow. So that's why I think our Austrians felt in a different way, in a different environment, very at home in Lucknow.
Ma'am, I just want to ask you one question, Ankita ma'am. How was your experience with sir? Because जैसे सर ने कहा कि treatment अलग है, ऑस्ट्रिया की जो treatment है वहाँ यहाँ पे भी देने की कोशिश की. How was your experience?
I didn't feel that some other people have come. I really didn't feel like, because it took 1-2 days to gel up with everyone, but they were so cooperative and so understanding. They all wanted, the thing that everybody wants to pour their heart into the film. It was similar in everyone. So मुझे पता ही नहीं चला. मतलब first day I went on the set. We all were friends, and then from the second day we all were a team. Matlab, not even a single person I could point out that this person was not up to the mark. I think we all became a team, and it didn't feel like that we are working with somebody else. Of course, we got to learn a lot from other people, but it was a wonderful experience. It was my first time with Sandeep and people coming from Austria. So I was a little nervous initially that, oh my God. But then when they started working, it was so smooth that it just happened naturally. There was nothing no bad memory at all. All I could say is that I've learned a lot. I've taken a lot from the film, from people, from me. It was such a great experience working with her because I learned really a lot. Like I learned patience. She was so disciplined on the set. She was
how to curse.
No. She was wonderful. She was so disciplined. She was so professional while working. she was so patient about things. And the day I met her, I saw her and I was surprised. How will she work? I mean, she could walk. I mean, she was walking, of course, but of course, my pace and her pace is different. So I was just thinking, how will I work with her? I was scared if she'll just hit me because she's so nice, she's cute. So if she doesn't like something, "Kya kar rahi hai?" Like this. So I was like, okay, I was scared. But she took such good care of people around and her own part that she was playing. I didn't feel like 25 days were just over like this, and we were at the end of the shoot.
And just to add about Farrukh Jaffar, I must say that people in Austria haven't seen the film. They have just seen the poster. I don't know if you've seen the poster of the film, and they're so awe of who is this woman, Farrukh Jaffar, because I think, I don't know who was at the screening out of you yesterday, her expressions say it all. I mean, she doesn't have to say a lot of dialogues and this is that, and she's such a strong woman. The way she just, expresses, her face tells a lot of stories. So I think that is, you don't find that every day. That was great.
So any other project in India you're planning to do?
Are you a producer? I mean, if you want to invest money, yeah. Well, if you're looking for putting your money into a film, we are here for the next 2-3 days. We can talk about it.
So, but seriously, are you planning something in India?
I would love to come and make films over here. I mean, I feel that India has such a, so many places and so many stories to tell. And me, this is back to home country. So I would love to come and make films, even in different parts, to come to South India, to come to Goa, to come, So if you have a story, again, if you have a story and if you have money to put in, just let us know.
The story is very crucial. Where you got the idea of the story?
I never remember where the first spark came from, because it just, as I said, wo tha, and then I, of course, when I was doing a recce for another film, and I happened to, then I went to meet Farrukh Jaffar ji, and so it evolved. Wo idea tha to make a film, the basic idea about, a woman who wants to realize a dream. It also came from the point where I felt that life is not forever. So when you're 20, you have a lot of options in front of you, right? When you're 40, options become less. You can't, and if you're 50, you can't become a doctor anymore. As you're aging, your options become less and less. Now, what are your options at 70 or 80? I feel that only the body ages. You yourself, as long as you have life, you have dreams and you have aspirations. So even if you're 80 and you're alive, you still should have hope. And you still should have the courage, and even more courage to do it, because then you're not bothered. When you're 20, you're thinking, oh, if I do this, what will happen? As you have less time, your time becomes more valuable. And then you really go and you believe in yourself and do, and you fight. You have the power to fight the world. So those were the thoughts which I had when I thought that, Mehrunisa as a character, even if it's 80 plus, she has a dream and she wants to fulfill it, she would go all out to do it. Jab tak hai jaan, you keep on living, and keep on following your dreams. So that was the idea about it.
I think we have had a lot of questions, and I think we'll stop the interaction here. Thank you very much for this wonderful
Thank you so
question-answer session, and thank you.